right, welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. It's going to be a little quick little pod for you today. We're going to cover some NBA, some MLB, and some fantasy football, some trade scenarios. But without further ado, let's go ahead and do introductions. I'm Mr. Raider.
This is Angry Joey.
I am the hater with facts.
Big silly.
All right. Well, let's start out with some NBA stuff.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit different from what we've heard this week. We're going to leave that alone and leave that to the feds. But right now, we're going to talk about a little bit related to the G League. There's been some little reports that have come out about particular players that are from the G League that are getting offers from college schools. And it really raised the dunder up with some of your premier college head coaches, specifically Tom Izzo from Michigan State, Bill Self from Kansas, and others. They have really raised the alarm on this because as much as of a improvement, we would say from the overall introduction of NIL from a player's perspective, from the college player's perspective, I think this is one of those loopholes in the system, as I would say, that I don't think anybody anticipated, where you're having players that have now played in, the G League, which is an affiliate of the NBA, where players are now coming back and now playing, or at least attempting to play for college schools. Now, in this particular case, we have two examples of this, where you have a player, I won't mention his name, that has played with the Westchester Knicks, which is affiliated with the New York Knicks. And he announced on Instagram that he's considering offers from BYU, Louisville, Auburn, Houston, UCLA, and Mississippi State. Now, one of the bigger detractors, like I said, was Tom Izzo from Michigan State, and he's very confused on this. He thinks it's ridiculous and embarrassing. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but because from his point of view, he's looking at this from they're recruiting high school kids to come play for their teams, and they already have to deal with the NIL component from that perspective. But now you're having this extra variable thrown into the mix now with administrations now trying to bring in guys who have now had professional training and been affiliated with NBA teams, and how that could possibly ruin things. So I'll leave this up to the rest of the panel here, and give me your thoughts on this. And could this be a potential problem? Do you have a problem with it, or should the NCAA maybe put some constraints on this from this particular perspective of a G League player being eligible to play for a college team?
I personally don't have a problem with it. I think that the G League's a farm system for the NBA. They don't pay them a lot. The problem before was when you went pro, you couldn't make money off of your play. But now with the NIL, you can make money off of your likeness. So the college, can't remember which was it, the NCAA, they made a ruling that stated that G League players could come back and play in college as long as they had never played for an NBA team. So
My question is how is and you'll have to excuse my ignorance on this one, because I just don't know anything about this one. But from the way you actually describe it, how is the NIL any different from the G League team?
well, it's not right. Like, I mean, now players are getting paid. So
Yeah.
the-
I mean, they're all professional athletes at this point, right?
yeah.
So,
the problem before was you couldn't be a professional, right? You couldn't get paid for play. But as soon as they opened up the NIL, that changes everything. So
yeah. So what are these coaches bitching about then? I don't get it. I mean, their players are getting paid just the same way as the G League team, right? I mean, am I missing something here?
Well, in the case of Tom Izzo, when he was asked about it, he didn't. Maybe it's more of a coach's issue, right? Because they didn't think that was, or at least he didn't. He didn't think that was a resource to tap into, right?
Okay, hold on now. So is this more of a coaching issue or a pride issue? In other words, I mean, are the coaches, getting pissed because they're the players that they're coaching are not getting into the NBA before the G Leaguers or anything like that? What am I missing here, man?
So the biggest thing is, at least for like we're talking like old school coaches here, like like the Rick Pitino's, the Tom Izzo's, the Bill Selfs. They've been in the college game for, you're talking like more than 20 years, right? And so, much like we've seen in college football, some of the old school coaches they've already announced their resentment over the fact of NIL to start with. But I think the biggest thing on this is that, okay, when we're talking about the NILs from the perspective of, okay, a college kid or a high school kid comes to college, does other stuff while in the uniform of that particular school. The school is getting all the revenues and all that type of stuff. They get nothing. That has changed, right? But now you thought you solved that particular piece of the problem. Now you're talking about, okay, we have guys who are now going to, they may have been drafted, but or maybe not, but they've gone to the G League. They've been in the G League for years, and now schools are trying to court them as as a possible resource to bring people back. And now you have the older players and stuff like that. Now they're playing NCAA games, or potentially playing NCAA games.
So that's a
Now,
curious
depending
thing.
go
That
ahead.
is a really curious thing. I mean, imagine that you are a young man that has all the game in the world, right?
Mhm.
But you weren't able to get into a specific university for a various number of reasons. Getting into a university and getting accepted, unless you actually have this pedigree of basketball behind you to actually prove that you actually belong to that school, which is subjective at best. I mean, what are they going to do? I don't blame those G Leaguers for actually doing what they're doing, to be honest with you. I mean, they got all this game. I mean, they just couldn't get past the bureaucracy of getting into a university or anything like that. So they go and do what they love.
It
They're getting paid
also
for it. Yeah. So,
with the size of these NIL contracts, I think a lot of those players that go to the G League realize that they're never going to make it to an NBA team, and they're probably getting more money in their 2 or 3 years that they could play left in college than they'll ever make in the G League, and they can finish their degree. So I don't have a problem with it. If you reach the G League and realize that you're not up to the level of that competition, but you can go make, 6 figures playing in college and getting, finishing out your degree, or like Joey was saying, if they didn't get enough exposure and they need to go back and get more exposure so they can, reach a new team, I don't see an issue with it personally.
I don't either. Especially some of these kids, that they're growing up on the inner streets and they're not going to get the exposure. Let's say that they're going to some small community college or some small high school that nobody even knows of. Let's say that you're going to Utah or Wyoming or anything like that. Where nobody knows who the hell you are. I mean, yeah, this is what gets them on the map. Is that I have no problem with it at all.
Here's my question though. Is this really gonna affect the other sports? Because right now in college football, if you declare for the draft, your eligibility is done, whether you're drafted or not.
Right.
Like, you can go completely undrafted, not get picked up by a team, and your eligibility is donezo. Meanwhile, in the NBA, you can get drafted, go to the G League, decide that's not for you, and then go back and play college basketball. So how are those 2 things fair?
I
In
think the
in
problem with
Major League
that is that the NFL doesn't really have a farm system like that, like the NBA does and the MLB does. They have
Yeah, but
like NBA.
that's the NFL's problem, not college football. Why does college football? The only reason they're doing it is because the NFL, I think, is making them. They're threatening like, "Hey, you give them eligibility where they can return, and we're gonna start a farm system, and it's gonna hurt college." I think the NFL and the NCAA work hand in hand to
Mhm.
maintain their power structure, and that's the only reason. Because I just looked up Major League Baseball. If you join the draft and don't get drafted in Major League Baseball, you can go back and play for college. So baseball, you can do it. Basketball, you can do it. College football, nope, can't do it. Well, so I'm just wondering if this is going to have like repercussions where football players are going to be like, "Hey, wait a minute,
Oh, for sure.
why can't I sign up for the draft, see where I get drafted, and then if it's in the 6th or 7th round, or I don't get drafted at all, I can go back to college and play some more."
Good
I don't
take.
get.
Good take. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm not
guess.
agree.
Yeah, I guess I guess I'm the outsider on this. But I think for me, I think it's more just it's the NCAA once again putting things into place without fully thinking things out and not putting guardrails on things like they should. Because when NIL opened, there was no guardrails, and it's been wild, wild west ever since.
Well,
And
they
I
did that
think
intentionally.
maybe so. And now who you are now is trickling down on into college basketball, where college basketball they were more upset about the fact that high school kids can go to the G League. Well, now you're talking maybe those kids who did make that decision go to the G League. Now they can do an end around and come back to college. It's like, man, like what are we doing? So I think the eligibility rules needs to be looked at. It's
Absolutely.
definitely too late right now, but they need.
Absolutely. I mean, the NFL actually has the eligibility rules as far as age concerns. I mean, you're not going to be seeing a high school kid going into the NFL. I mean,
Absolutely not.
but you actually see that in the NBA. I mean, look at LeBron James. I mean, what was he, like 16, 17 years old when he got drafted?
No, he was 18. He was
18.
18. Right.
Just
Then they
turn.
changed the rule, but they changed that rule after that. I think, yeah, because it was in '03, and I think it was in '04 they implemented it where you had to be out of high school for 1 year before you can be
Okay.
eligible for the
Yeah,
draft.
that's what it was. Okay, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I hear you though, Hater. But I definitely think that there should be some changes. They're gonna have to adapt, just like with what the NCAA is doing with this whole commission and they passed that law now to where Neil supposedly is going to be under a cap now. I don't know, however they're going to
Yeah.
do it, but I agree with you. And here's the thing, too, man. Like, it is. I don't think people can appreciate just exactly how hard it is, or the percentages of people that don't make it professionally.
Yeah.
In the professional leagues, like the 12th man on an NBA team is 100 times better than any Division One athlete you can think of, and they're the 12th man.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
a good point too. I mean, and that's the case for all of professional sports. I mean, to be able to
Yeah.
make it to any kind of professional sports is astronomical. I
and
mean,
to stay long, they have like a
Yeah.
long-term career, doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing, and it's like if that's what you're dealing with, a lot of these, and I think you said earlier in your Joey's that a lot of these kids are coming from impoverished scenarios and houses and communities. Maybe not all, but I would say a good majority of them.
Well, some
Um,
of them. I mean, even if it's just a few, I, you're probably blinking your eyes at somebody that could potentially be an absolute elite athlete. So give them a chance, man. I mean, that's what I say.
Yeah, and especially if they weren't okay. So let's say the Knicks, right? I think you get that. Knicks has a farm team, whatever.
Yeah.
Get drafted, go there. You're in the G League. You're you're probably making I want to say maybe let's say 300,000. Let's just say that, right? And that's your job. But if you compare that to, let's say, the University of Louisville's or the Kentuckies that are playing, or the Kansas Jayhawks that are paying their basketball players a ridiculous amount of money based on that ill, and they're also now considered professionals. Why not give a kid a chance to come back to college and get his degree, get his money right, and then have a higher chance of success later on? That's just my goal. So I'm with Whoopig. I don't have an issue with it, but there should be a term. Like, you can't be out in the G League for 4 years and decide to come back to college. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I just thought that would be an interesting topic to bring up because I mean it's going to further develop, in the different sports within college, athletics. But I'd be interested to see how this turns out going forward.
Yeah. Keep an eye on it for sure. You
Yeah.
just need to adapt, you dinosaur. That's what you need to do.
That's right. Hey, I used to be that get off my lawn guy when it came to college football. I used to be, "Don't play those players," and then I remember they had the story of there was one year, like, he was like a five-star, like, running back or wide receiver or something, and he came from an impoverished, family. They couldn't afford to he played out of state. He couldn't afford to come back home during the holidays, so he stayed at the college over the holidays, and they'd shut down the cafeteria. So over,
Oh,
like, the Christmas holidays, he was eating, like, crackers and peanut butter because that's what, like, he
I
get.
I remember that story. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
I do
And
too.
dude, when I heard that story, it broke my heart. I was like, "Nah, nah, they need to pay these guys."
Like, you
Tell
couldn't
you
So
even
what,
get, like, a box of bagel donut or bagels, right? Didn't somebody wanna give him bagels
something
or
like
something like
Yes.
that.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been a violation at that point. Yes.
Mhm.
all right,
Yeah.
gentlemen, here's some stats to chew on here. Okay, so you guys want to know what the percentage is for players to actually make the pros? I mean, we're not even talking about whether you become elite or not,
Crazy
but
cool
It is
stat
high
of
like
the
school.
day. Let's
10%, isn't
go,
it?
baby.
We'll start from basketball. Okay, from high school to the NBA, around 0.003% of high school athletes make the NBA. From
Damn.
college to the NBA, 1.2% of NCAA men make the NBA. In football, okay, around 0.08% of high school football players make it to the NFL. Around 1.6% of NCAA football players make the NFL. Baseball, okay, about 0.5% of high school baseball players make it to the MLB, and this is the highest percentage. From college to the MLB, about 9%. But still,
Wow.
that's astronomical. We're not even talking about soccer or hockey or any of the other elite sports. But as far as the ones that we really care about, anyway,
Mhm.
those numbers are astronomical. Don't y'all think? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
man.
ridiculous. I mean,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
these guys they're demigods. I mean, even the worst athletes, the ones that we actually shit on from Sunday to Saturday, I mean,
He's a
they're
bum.
they are
Yeah.
amazing athletes. They really, really are.
That
Throw
stupid
back
one
in the
percenter
garbage bin.
bum.
So, anyway, just thought I'd share that little stat with
Yeah.
you.
No, man, I think you know who talked about that was Coach Prime, actually. He talked about that when he was coaching at HBCU and then at Colorado. But yeah, he's
Yep.
talked about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a matter of fact, I saw something where he said that he wants some of his star players to start playing special teams now as well because he's like, you're not gonna be able to make it to the NFL if you don't know how to play special teams.
Correct.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
and he's trying to increase their percentages, but again, you just hit it. That percentage is so small that just shows you how much of an athlete you have to be in order to compete like that, especially in the
Yeah,
NFL, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So, anyway, that's all I got.
All right, anything else on that one then? Are you good,
No, sir.
Hater?
We can move on.
Okay. So let's go ahead and transition to MLB now. I know you got something to
Oh,
say on
wait,
that,
hold
Angry
on one
Joey.
second. One second, one second. Uh, can we still I have one thing I wanted to bring up about,
Go
the
ahead.
NBA.
Do your
Oh, go
So
ahead.
thing.
so did you guys see the game that Wemby had?
I did not.
Well,
I did.
fixing to touch on that. Which one are you talking about? The one against the Pels or the one against the Mavs?
The Mavs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some stuff on that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. We can wait
Yeah. I
then.
think that
We
was.
can wait
Yeah.
then.
I think it's going to be the next subject after MLB.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No
Well,
Oh,
problem.
that's
okay,
cool.
so to be honest with you, I'm going to let you handle that one. Because I think that's we have some pretty good rivalries that are actually starting to brew here, man.
All right. Well, I know you don't want to talk about this, Angry Joey, but your Dodgers they took an ass whooping, buddy.
Okay, so we're starting with that. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cry your tears, buddy.
Okay. Well, yeah, they definitely took an L, and right now it's coming down to game two is looking pretty suspicious, because Gossman, he's been pitching one hell of a game, and he's been blanking him for a good minute. And I will say this right now, as far as I can tell, the Dodgers, they have four hits in this game, and unless you actually turn those hits into home runs, they ain't gonna get it. not against this Toronto team. They've actually been balling. They really have. Their pitching staff has been really, really good. Their batting has been even better. More specifically, the bottom of the sixth just crushed me, man. I mean, they actually put up 9 runs in that inning. They actually had a grand slam home run, and then of course they also had a
The
3
Blue
run,
Jays.
shortly thereafter. So, I mean, if it wasn't for, the bottom of the sixth, this last game, then the Dodgers would have won, but it is what it is. What do you do? Now here we are as we're watching this. It's the top of the seventh, the score is tied, but the Dodgers, they can't get wood on they can't get wood on leather, you know. I mean, until they can get their bats going, and their pitching has been questionable. I can tell you at the last game, at the bottom of the sixth, they actually switched out 3 pitchers to actually even end the inning. Otherwise, shit, we would have probably still been going at it. But anyway, so unless the Dodgers can actually figure out a way to shore up their stuff. Oh, there we go. Dodgers just got a home run blast from Will Smith. Thank you, catcher. But anyway, so they're up 2-1 now. But as you guys have seen, this series can go very, very quickly the other way. If the Dodgers manage to squeak out this win, then they will win home field advantage, and that's the goal, right? So if they can do this, and then they go back home, I think that we're talking about this a little bit ago about wanting this to be a really, really good series, and I still want it to be, but just for the right reasons. I don't want to see any kind of mudslinging or anything like that. I just want to see fans being fans, and not the animosity and the hatred towards Ohtani or any of that kind of nonsense. I mean, I understand that there's some hatred between Toronto and Ohtani and blah blah blah, and for whatever reasons they think, because they felt that Ohtani kind of shit on them or whatever. But anyway, here we are. I mean, I just want to see a good series, and so far, yeah, we're kind of getting it. I mean, I think the animosity is kind of building up a little bit, but yeah, well, I guess we'll see how this thing plays out. But right now, as of this moment, the Dodgers, they just actually went 2-1 against the Jays and the top of the seventh with a home run blast from Will Smith. But anyway, yeah, that bottom of the sixth, man, that killed us, man. That was a crusher.
Yeah, it was. That made my blood pressure go up watching that whole inning. I mean, as soon as I saw that first hit, I was like, okay, we're in trouble. And to me, Snell looked like he had an off night. He really did.
Now he looked out of his shell, I mean, and not only that, but that beanball that he actually threw. To be honest with you, that was so out of character for him.
Yeah.
First of all, and I think that we were talking about this a little bit ago, Raider. With I could have swore that he hit him in the head with, when I first saw it. I mean, I thought that he blasted him. I was like, oh my God,
Almost.
this guy,
Got him on the shoulder.
Yeah, but he got him on the shoulder. Thank God that nobody got hurt. I mean, and that he just took a shoulder hit, because if he would have hit him in the head, I mean, he's out for a minute. Because I mean, he threw that with some temper tantrum.
Yeah, but I don't think he was doing it intentionally, and I think
No,
the other team knew that. He doesn't have the reputation. He doesn't have like the
yeah,
Clemens or the Randy Johnson or the Pedro Martinez reputation
no,
that
not at all.
among.
I mean, and to be fair, I mean, this is before they actually had the grand slam and all that other stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean, and not only that, but Snell, that's not his game. He's not a nasty player, or anything like that. So I don't think there was any animosity in there, yeah, at all. But it was uncharacteristic. But I
yeah,
will say, in watching the game that we're watching right now, Gosman, he is pitching one hell of a game against the Dodgers, and it's concerning, because I mean I'm a little bit concerned about the Dodgers bullpen right now, with how they kind of depleted it in game one.
well, we still got Yamamoto and Ohtani. You know,
Yamamoto, he's actually throwing right now, and he's actually throwing, well, I mean, shit, he's actually throwing a pretty damn good game so far, but he has actually been bailed out a couple of times. Freeman, he actually choked on one. He had one error, You know, it was a infield pop-up fly, you know, that he uncharacteristically missed. You know, I mean, he just misjudged the catch. It was an error, you know, but he got bailed out by Yamamoto. You know, so you know the Dodgers, they just need to shore up some things right now, because I mean the Jays, they're playing some really good fucking baseball right now.
Yeah,
Well, it was like I was saying before the series started, your biggest weakness, you already knew it, was your bullpen. And that's why I said, like, you said you wanted a good series, but a good series means that your bullpen has to deliver.
Okay.
And that's something you don't have a lot of confidence in. So
Update: Muncy actually just got home run. He finally broke his little slump, so now the game is up 3-1.
all right. I'm still not comfortable, but yeah,
Still not
that's good.
comfortable
Yeah.
until they get up like 10 runs against this team, because Toronto, their batting is otherworldly. They are really good, you know. And Otani, you know, I mean, he's going to get it going at some point, you know. But yeah, I mean, Toronto, they are a nasty team. They are really, really good, you know. I mean, so I mean, I think we're getting everything that we wanted out of this World Series. You know, I mean, this is going to be a really, really good series. I hope. You know, I kind of hope it comes down to. Oh no, I don't. I want to see the Dodgers beat the shit out of them. I'm
I was about
sorry.
to say, careful now. Careful.
yeah.
You
See,
know what I'm saying?
You guys are gonna make
Careful.
coming to my
you
side,
know,
buddy.
I'm
Welcome.
trying to be the diplomatic kind, but no, fuck that.
Nah,
Oh, I want
nah,
to be.
damn that.
I want my
Fucking
Dodgers to
traitor.
kick the shit out of these Canucks, man. I'm just saying.
Yes, right.
You're a red-blooded American.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
And
right.
you take your Bud Light, you let them know what's going on. All right.
No. We don't do Bud Light in this. Yeah,
Canadian
bad.
bacon is just ham. So,
yeah.
Texas A&M just took the lead. So
Yes. They just went up 20-18. Yeah. So I actually. Okay, I know we're kind of skipping all over the place right here, but yeah. So anyway, but that's that's my MLB take right now, guys. Unless you have anything, gentlemen, that's all I have.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good here. Boop here.
I'm good.
All right. Okay, so with the remaining time that we have, let's go ahead and bullshit about some fantasy football trade scenarios. Okay. So before I lay out what this is, let me set some criteria here. Talking about a dynasty league, PPR, tight end premium, and I'm going to be using wide receiver and quarterback. And then I'll open it up for running back to y'all, the audience, as well as the rest of the co-hosts here. So let's do this in tiers, right? Tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 would be like, example for quarterbacks, it would be like your Pat Mahomes, your Lamar Jacksons, your Jared Goff, stuff like that. That's tier 1, right? Tier 2 would be those that are underneath that. So you could consider players like Jaden Daniels, so to speak, Bo Nix, or something like that. So that's kind of the range that I'm going for. So let's start off with scenario 1. So let's say you're a team and you need some wide receiver help, and you get something that comes across your desk that somebody wants to send you a 2026 first and a 2026 second round pick for DK Metcalf. Are you smashing that trade quickly, or are you cussing somebody out?
I'm cussing somebody out. That's horse
What-
shit. A first and a second for DK Metcalf? Fuck no.
Yeah, I was going to say,
First
I'm
and a second.
giving this up. I'm giving up those 2 picks for DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No fucking
So
way.
now let's say you're on the verge of making it though, to like you are like on the verge of the cutoff for the playoffs. Like you're in a win now mode. Does that
No.
change it?
No.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
For a first and second, you could actually get a hell of a lot better than that. Okay,
Okay.
I guess it depends on, you know, I mean, so first of all, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to target somebody that actually needs those picks. In other words, somebody that's probably, okay, so if you're looking for the wide receiver and you have those picks to give up, what I'm doing is I'm looking at somebody's roster that is in desperate need of picks. And you're in desperate need of a wide receiver, right? So let's say that you actually see like a Drake London. That would be okay. I mean, you're not going to get somebody like an Amon St. Brown or anything like that, but dare I say maybe an AJ Brown, maybe.
Hold on, he's in one of my scenarios next, so I'll bring him up. I like where you're going with that.
So again, I think that I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just gotta ask if you said a first and a second. Now my question would be, even if it is, do I have more? If are those the only picks I have? Do I have more than that? Do I have extra first? Or
yeah, that's a good question. I'm glad you said no. You have. I'll say this is 4 rounds, right? You have all 4 of your picks.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing about DK Metcalf, right?
Here's one other question
right now, but
just to kind of put it into perspective, are you okay? So if you're giving up the picks, are you a contender?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said you're on the verge of you're teetering towards the playoffs, right?
Yeah, okay, you're about to make you're on the verge of the cutoff. You know, say like in your league, in this league, it's like top 4 or whatever.
Yeah. So so here's the problem. DK Metcalf, right? He's tied to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not, and again, it's a dynasty league. So you're sacrificing that first and second round pick for a guy who has a competent quarterback for this year, but we have absolutely no idea what the Steelers are going to do next year, and he's tied to them for the next 4 years, I think. Mm-hmm. So you got to take all that into consideration, and who's to say, going towards playoff week, even if you make it, right? Who's to say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn into a pumpkin, but when you absolutely need him the most, and now you're going into the following season, and you don't even have any ammunition to fill up your cupboard again,
Mm. Okay, so as far as I understand, like the value, then you're saying those draft picks, or at least the consensus is, and I haven't heard from you, Will Pig, but is the first and second picks of the 2026 is worth way more than DK Metcalf presently or in the future? Because how old is DK? He's like what, 25?
27.
27?
Yeah.
27, yeah.
And is still in his prime? What do you think, Will Pig?
No, I think that's a little too steep for DK Metcalf, even if you're on the cusp. Well, I did trade for DK Metcalf. I can tell you what I traded. Let me see. Let me pull up what I did. Give me a second. You guys go ahead.
Sure. While you're doing that, like Hater and Angry Joy, what would be your counter in this scenario?
Honestly, I wouldn't give no more than a second round pick for DK Metcalf, to be honest. And we could be, we could deviate and like you said, if they're teetering towards the playoffs, so now that equates to like a mid-second, right? I think that's fair. And if I had to, okay, then I'll throw in a third if I have to. But I'm not giving up a first for that.
Okay, you guys want to hear what I did?
Let's go.
I gave up TJ Hawkinson and my 2026 first round pick. I got DK Metcalf, Trey Harris, and 2 2026 first round picks.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
Okay, so okay, you're talking about a right there,
Yeah, that's uncommon. What an example, Woo Pig.
I was gonna say,
what?
Just shut the fuck up right now, okay?
Just go ahead and mute yourself.
Does
anybody have a vice grip?
That was. Oh, okay. Thanks,
I
just
heard a queef right there. Yeah, I'm just saying. You fucking that person, man.
Make sure you bleep that out.
Yeah. You definitely got to bleep that out.
So just leave that. We need to blip that fucking comment out.
That was probably one of my better trades.
Yeah, I'd say so. You dick.
So
it's not my best trade that I made so far. My best trade was
shut your mouth, Woo Pig. Shut your mouth. Don't you do it.
What? Hold on. I got Tank Bixby, JSN, a third rounder and a second rounder for my 103.
I just literally heard somebody's eyes roll right now. I mean, I can't imagine who's that.
Yep.
I don't know who made that trade with me.
Someone's blood pressure just went to 200 and I heard it.
Yeah. Somebody just got pissed.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay, hater. It's okay, hater. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose on these trades, you know?
So bad, man. It's so bad. Oh my god. Okay,
I can't
so
stand
back
you.
to the trade at hand.
Yes.
Yeah, what would you counter with Angry Joey?
It, for DK, I'm kind of with Hater on this one. I mean, he's not. I would stick with a mid second, and if I need to, you know, make the pot a little bit more rich, I'd throw in a third. Because as far as our league is concerned, when you're talking about third and fourth round picks, they're typically dart throws. You never know what you're going to get, and they almost never hit, but sometimes they do. I mean, I can tell you, I actually drafted Ramondre Stevenson in the fourth round in our draft. So who knows? I mean, is he elite? No, but he was playable. So and that's all you're looking for, somebody that you feel comfortable starting. So that's what I would do.
I think
But I'm with you though, Hater. I would never give up a first round for him. That's way too rich for my blood.
yeah, I would do a second if I had to, but a third, maybe 2/3, but that would be about it. Because he's 27, and
Oh.
I could use him. But okay, so so I'm only going to do 3 wide receivers, so we can kind of keep this short. So now here's a little more realistic trade examples. Okay, so let's say the target is AJ Brown, right?
Mm.
And the scenario is you send a RB2, like say James Cook or even Ramondre Stevenson, like you just said, and a mid wide receiver like Cortland Sutton, and you get AJ Brown. What do you think about that?
Tough to
Mm.
say, man. I mean, AJ Brown, his situation is pretty volatile. Just being that offense is so unpredictable at this point. I think that and I think that Tony actually kind of hit on this last pod. In the sense that the Eagles, they are weird. They're kind of tough to figure out as far as who they're gonna fucking play. Because I mean, one week they go Saquon Barkley, and then and Dennis Smith, and then the next they go AJ Brown.
Devontae
So
Smith.
what? Or excuse me, Devontae Smith. Excuse me.
Okay.
I don't
So
see that as being a bad offer, to be honest with you. I mean, that's
What
not bad.
so what all were you giving up? You were giving up
So
Sutton
okay.
and what else?
Yeah, so I'll do it again. So your target's AJ Brown, right? You're sending an RB2 like James Cook or Ramondre Stevenson, or plug in whoever RB2 you want, and a mid wide receiver like Cortland Sutton or Jerry Judy or whatever, and then you get AJ Brown.
I
And this
smash
is kind of like on a buy low on a proven alpha, in my opinion. But so what say you will pick?
I mean, all of these are so situational because where's your team at? Are you trying to prepare for a push? Are you trying to prepare for later on?
So
I personally,
let's keep it the same. It's like you're on the cutoff of making the playoff. Like you're right there.
and you're trying to get AJ Brown.
Yes.
I would
I mean,
reject. I'd reject. Cortland Sutton, he's actually balling right now, and Ramondre Stevenson, he doesn't move the needle very very much. But if you're talking Cook, yeah, I think he's a baller. And AJ Brown, I think that he's a little volatile right now.
I'm saying
He
just take any top tier RB2, right? I mean, let's be real. Like I just gave 2 names, but I didn't like have a whole list of who's top RB2s, but just a legitimate RB2 and a legitimate mid wide receiver. And I think Cortland Sutton is a legitimate mid wide receiver right now.
Okay,
Um,
so if you're talking about tier 2 running backs, you're talking the likes of Jonathan Taylor, Hampton, A-Chain, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, James Cook.
No,
no,
no.
Okay, so then past that, then you're talking about Jacobs, Judkins, Hall, McCaffrey, Scattaboo, and Williams.
Mm.
you can make that list on there too. But like I said, I think James Cook is a good little barometer between 2 and 3, tier 2 and 3 for a running back. I think if but before I get my thoughts on that, so what were you saying, Wu Pig? Finish up. What were you saying?
I'm not a big fan of AJ Brown.
So you would reject the trade?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Just specifically because it's AJ Brown. I mean, if you say you can get me someone at his talent level, maybe I would make that trade, but specifically for AJ Brown, I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. All right. What
Well,
about
not
you,
only
Hater?
that, but I
Oh,
actually
sorry.
have AJ Brown as I have him as a tier 3
Yeah,
wideout. And
bottom
not only
tier
that,
3.
but let's not forget the fact that I think he's out this week, isn't he?
Yeah, he
He
Not
is.
is.
sure.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
So
Yeah, he had a hamstring injury.
yeah. So I'd say I'd give that a hard pass.
All right. Okay. So I would definitely reject this. And the biggest reason is like you guys said, but I have his fantasy rankings so far this year. We played 7 weeks so far. He's only had 2 weeks where he's been top 10, and he only has 1 week where he was top 20. Everything else has been at least wide receiver 48. That's what AJ Brown has produced. So for me to give up, I'm giving up a starter at running back, and I'm giving up a consistent. He might not be, the notable names that we know, but he's consistent in Cortland Sutton. I'm giving that up for that type of volatility in AJ Brown. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I might be disrespectful. I might not even reply to that offer. I might let it sit in the
Whoa.
inbox for like 2
Whoa.
weeks.
Whoa.
And I
One
won't
of
even
those.
touch it.
Coming from a trade
That's how I
addict.
feel about that. Yeah.
Okay, so you need to explain that, as far as how we actually trade, bullshit trades there, Hater.
What do you mean?
Well, as far as, when you receive an absolute horseshit trade, how do you actually deal with it? There's 2 ways. You know what they are.
Yeah. Okay. So I either immediately reject it, right? And then I'll reply back. I guess I'm a lot nicer. I'm a lot nicer than most people, but I will immediately reject it, and then I'll message back the person to let them know, are you serious? What's wrong with you? Help me understand your thinking on this. I try to be, forthcoming, but I want to understand your logic here. If I can, maybe re-engage with something a little bit more, suitable, then that's
Oh,
fine.
come
But if you
on,
come
man.
back with some more nonsense after I ask you about that, then nah,
You're
I'm done.
being way too nice, man. Okay, so
You're right.
here's
You're right.
here's the
I
2
am.
ways. Yeah, you need to respond in 2 ways. Either one, just don't respond at all and let them keep wondering for about 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
hey, is this guy gonna ever respond to me or anything like that? And then just let it die in the vine. Or 2, you could actually counter with them with a most ridiculous, response. Like I will take.
That's what I did to Mr. Raider.
Yeah, I will take
Oh God.
Jefferson.
I knew you was
off
gonna bring that shit up.
like that.
Yeah, you should tell him. You should tell him about how that shit got started.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I need to go back and look and see what the original trade was, but Mr. Raider, I just joined the league. He sends me a absolutely boneheaded, ridiculous trade offer. It was so bad because
Temperature check.
if it's reasonable, I will counter. If
Yeah.
it's insulting, I will just decline it and ignore them. And if it is so boneheaded stupid that it insults me, I will send a counter offer that is absolutely just as ridiculous or worse. And that is exactly what I did to Mr. Raider. Oof, I was hot.
All I was doing was just testing his knowledge of the fantasy football. That's all.
Oh, that's
I was just
funny.
trying to find the baseline. That's it.
Oh, you
You know what
were
I'm saying?
testing my patience. That's what it was.
And then what was I think I responded to your trade with a counter. I was like 1/4 round pick for all 4 of your top tier guys. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's what it
Yeah, it
was.
was and we started going back and forth with ridiculous trades.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's
I
funny.
remember when that was going on, I was like, man, I hope to God he's not getting pissed because I'm really at that point I really was just messing around because the shit was funny.
Well,
know?
yeah, well, it got bad enough that I stopped looking at his trade offers on my phone because I didn't want to accidentally accept and just completely screw my team. Like, waited until I could get on my PC so I could make sure I declined it properly, you know? It was
Okay,
just
so what the audience doesn't know though is that I, as a commissioner, always get the phone calls and the text saying, "Hey, would you take a look at this stupid shit?" And then I have to fucking navigate how to, make sure that these guys don't kill each other. I'm just
Hey, that's part of that's part of the job description there.
Oh,
Amy
it
boy.
is. It most
Sorry.
certainly is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this last one is going to be a tough one. Okay. Because I try to go from like easy to middle difficulty to this one's going to be tough. let's say you're trying to target Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave or Brandon Ayuk. Just pick one, okay? Let's say for Wilson, you will send an RB1. Would
For
you do
Garrett
that
Wilson?
for Garrett Wilson, right? So you send an RB1, and then you receive Garrett Wilson in a 2026 mid-round pick for that one. Or with Olave, let's say you send an RB2 and a bench wide receiver, you get Olave. Or with Ayuk, let's say you send a wide receiver 2 and or backup running back, and you get Ayuk. What do you think of those scenarios?
Okay, so when you say mid-round pick, you're talking like a second or a third round, or are you saying like a mid first?
No, second or third
Okay.
round.
All right. Okay. Well,
All right.
Andrew Jordan, did you want to
complicated.
follow that up, or before I go?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All
Dude.
right. Okay. So for Garrett Wilson, right? Here's the problem. He is a young wide receiver, right? And I'm going to assume that since you're sending Garrett Wilson, you're really, really bad at running back right now, right? So Garrett Wilson's situation is so bad. Like his talent is off the charts, but the situation that he's in is trash. Is trash can juice. So him being tied to not Garrett Wilson, to
Justin Fields.
yes, Justin Fields. Him being tied to Justin Fields is like being tied to a 10-ton anchor
It
around
won't
your
be
neck.
for long.
And you're trying to run a race.
It won't be for long.
Right. So now it's like, all right, you're talking about a rebuilding New York Jets team who potentially might have a rookie going forward. And we're looking at the rookie class going into 26. Not necessarily that inviting. So now you're talking about him being on the struggle bus for another year or two. So I'm giving that up, but I'm getting an aging running back who might not survive long enough for me to be a playoff contender going forward either. Because if we're talking Derrick Henry, right? We're seeing what he's looking like right now. He has another like 2 years on his contract right now. So
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So those two things. Now, and then the pick that comes along with him, is that good enough to where I can get somebody that's coming in, that's coming in for the draft? I'll speak for myself. The running back class from this year that we thought was supposed to be good has been very disappointing. So I don't know what to believe about the running backs that are coming into the league going forward. I don't know. So I feel like I would rather, if I could, I would probably send that back and be like, okay, give me Derrick Henry and give me another running back or another active running back. So
So just to be
like
fair, there are a couple of pretty good running backs coming out of this class. I mean, Judkins, Scadaboo, those kind of
two. But that's two of them. But it's supposed to be like six.
Genty, once again, Genty, imagine him on anybody but the Raiders.
But again, we have to deal with the scenarios that we have, right?
I understand.
So the dream of Genty being this stud on a team is not happening, right?
So how about this? How about this, Hater? I mean, if I was to see that, Garrett Wilson, I'd be looking at his other, the person that you're trading with, their other receivers. Because if they have like a Drake London or a Nico Collins or something like that, I would counter with something like that.
You know what? That might be the deal. Maybe Derrick Henry and Nico Collins. Because Nico Collins, he's struggling.
What now?
I said Nico Collins and Derrick Henry.
Instead of
Wilson
Garrett
and a mid-round pick?
no, other way around, dude. Instead of Garrett Wilson, I would actually target somebody. Once again, it's all situational, as Woo Pig actually called it. I mean, you'd have to look at their other wide receivers because if he had like a Drake London or
you're saying you'd rather target them instead of Garrett Wilson altogether.
Target, because if you're in a win now mode, then I would actually start targeting a different wide receiver. But I'm with you on that. In the sense that Garrett Wilson, yes, he's a great wide receiver, but he's in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has. What good is a wide receiver if you can't get the ball in his hands?
What about Olave? Chris Olave?
Olave?
Yeah, Olave. Yeah,
Olave. You feel the same about him?
Okay.
Well,
again, he's on a terrible team, right? Now, Spencer Rattler
Oh,
has been playing a lot better
I'm
than
sorry,
Justin
Hater.
Fields.
I'm sorry, Hater. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
Go
should
ahead.
have said this in the beginning. This is the top trades that are trending across all of the different fantasy football platforms.
Wow.
That
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm bringing up these names. Sorry, go ahead.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, Chris Olave, like he's been doing well, but I have to admit, he scares me because of his concussions. I'm just going to be honest. Like he's doing well right now. Then I trade for him, and then he gets thrown a medicine ball, and then he's done. Then I'm like, oh well, you know what I mean? So,
Okay. What would you give up for him? What would your counter be for Chris Olave?
now run me his scenario one more time. Like he's getting traded for what?
All
Or
right.
what not getting back?
So I'm here to say, so you're going to get him, right? But in order to get him, you have to give up, let's say, RB2 and a bench wide receiver.
RB2 and the bench wide receiver. Okay. Wow. RB2. I would be
It's tough.
tempted to.
Make you
I'd
think
be
about it.
tempted to, but I think what I would ask for a draft pick in return. It would have to be
From
Olave and a draft pick to come back.
what,
If you give me
mid
that, I
round,
think I'll take it.
mid draft pick? Like what?
Yeah,
How early are
yeah,
you talking?
yeah. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a third. Something like that. Just give me a bonus coupon a little bit, and I think we can work that out.
Yeah, I got I traded Derrick Henry in our league, and I think I got fleeced a little bit. That is one of my not so great trades. I traded Derrick Henry for a Donnie Mitchell, who's not worked out well this year, and then a 2027 second and a 2028 fourth. That was my trade for
I
Derrick
don't
Henry.
think that was a horrible trade,
I don't think
dude.
that's
I
terrible either.
really, I honestly don't think that you got fleeced, just because I think it's Derrick Henry, and I think that Tony actually said it best. You want to trade a player a little bit
year
sooner than
A
a
year
little
too
bit too
soon
late.
and a year too late? Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
that is very true. You got something for him because, I mean, what's he going to look like next year?
yeah.
Nobody's going to want to trade for him. You couldn't give him away,
Yeah.
so
I can speak on that too because I had Christian McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs on my squad, and I had to trade them, and I'm suffering for it now. But I
well,
knew I only had a
this year maybe, but next year, I mean, they're going to have to, Steve's going to have to make some decisions. I mean, because Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he's very injury prone, so I mean, it wasn't a bad thing that you did. I mean, yeah, he had a great game last week, but that was because they dumped 40 fucking balls to him. I mean, so they can't sustain that. They just can't, so yeah, I'm not hating your trade. I mean, I'm hating the fact that, he was playing against me last week. Never mind the fact that I smoked his ass still. But anyway,
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you really have to look at like McCaffrey. He's been top 10 all season. It's hard to believe, but he's looking like old Christian McCaffrey. But you got to think like, dude, he's going to run out of gas at some point.
yeah, or
yeah.
heaven forbid, and I never wish this on any player ever.
Yeah.
I hope he can stay healthy, but the way he runs and the way he goes, gosh,
And
man.
the tradition of San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Never mind that. Yeah. They got that little stink on them.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention what I got. So with Christian McCaffrey, I traded him for 2 second-round picks, 2026 second-round picks. And then Josh Jacobs, he was patched with a couple other non-players that don't need to be mentioned for a first-rounder and a third-rounder next year.
I will say, Mr. Raider, in reference to that deal, I think you broke the brain of the person that you traded with on that, because now like every trade negotiation that has happened ever since has been absolutely bonkers and ridiculous. And I want to blame you for that because you broke his
You
brain.
can't, because it took me like a month and a half just to even be able to get to that point.
Oh,
That trade.
okay.
So it
Oh,
was
my.
a work in progress. But
You were negotiating it that long, dude?
yeah,
Oh,
dude,
my
it was a
God.
long time, man. Yeah, like he would like I would write it on his on his board.
Oh, my Lord.
I would say today's price isn't tomorrow's price.
Oh,
you
my
know?
God.
But yeah,
All right.
yeah,
We'll pig
I
you
fucking
been
love our league,
forewarned,
man.
sir.
yeah, Yep.
Yep.
All right. So
Hey, man.
let me finish this piece
Yeah.
off. But all right, so interesting last food for thought kind of opened up to our audience and to y'all as well. Let's say like some value sleeper wide receivers buy low now. A couple names I would think of is like Christian Kirk, Tank Dell. You know, those are kind of buy low, buy low.
Tank Dell.
Hank Dell?
Yeah.
Dude,
I think next year he's gonna do what he has to do.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know,
I'm just
man.
saying,
That's a
those
bold
are the
take.
names I'm just thinking of. Like, who do you think right now would be a buy low sleeper wide receiver?
Okay,
Right
so
now?
Tank Dell, he's an interesting take, just because his injury was so bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if the man's ever going to put on pads again. I mean, just I
Yeah.
pray he does. Because he was a very, very good talent,
Very good. Yes.
very
Yep.
good talent. But his injury was
It was
really, really
horrific.
bad.
Yeah. What about like Christian Kirk and Rashi Rice then?
Rasheed Rice,
Rasheed Rice, yeah, that ship is sailed.
yeah, he's if he's still available in your leagues, you guys are fucking morons. I'm just saying, because I
Well,
mean
not
you
just
got
availability. If you can get him for a reasonable price still, if that's still out there, you need to do it now.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, Rasheed Rice, he's gold right now.
yeah.
God
Yeah.
bless America. Am I actually saying that kind of shit about a fucking Kansas City Chief? Oh my God.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Put the
but yeah,
sauce down,
Rasheed
Joey.
Rice, I mean, he balled out this last weekend. I mean, so I think he's only going to get better. And not only that, but with Kelsey, this uh, likely being his last year. But Rasheed Rice, he's going to be the way going forward.
Okay.
I would say a good buy low candidate is Matthew Golden.
Ooh.
I think
Oh, nice. I like that.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah, because he's disappointed like a lot like this year totally, but I think it's just the way the Green Bay Packers operate. Like they just won't give first year receivers any type of love. It normally takes a year. So because the same thing happened with Christian Watson, if my memory serves right. So if there's an opportunity out there to grab him, just to stash him, until next year, I think that'll be a good one.
Okay, so I actually have a semi buy low. What about a Condre Miller?
Mm.
I mean, he's 23 years old. He's on a shit team, but
Andre Miller?
he's only 23. He's only 23 years old. I mean, and he's on his way up. Now, I get it. He's on IR right now. But he's actually shown some promise. I mean, I think that he might be something worth targeting.
Well, I have him on my team. If you want to make an offer for him, go right ahead. I am
Okay,
open to it.
I'll give you a
My
fourth round
inbox is
pick
open.
for him.
So yeah, because I'm looking to put him on the plane. So if you want something for him, come get him.
Like I said, buy low.
I understand what you said.
Yeah. Buy low. That's right. And what about you,
All
Woo
right.
Pig? Did you say you go back? My bad.
Well,
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Did you what I hope Tank Bigsby comes back. He's on my team. I've still got him sitting there in my IR.
Well, as far as like wide receiver, who do you think is a buy low candidate?
I don't know. Good question.
All right. So let's go in reverse and I'll throw this one to you. So let's talk about sell high now. Let's say, all right, sell high, right? Give you a couple names. Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs.
what?
What do you
So,
think?
Oh
Sell
Lord.
high while you can. Do you agree with that? Disagree with that? What you think?
I would say all of the above, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
those are great sell highs.
I got two
Yeah.
words for that. Hail to the gnaw. If this, all I'm saying is, you can try to sell high, but the person who buys them from you will be high. That's the only high you're getting on that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm
okay,
saying
but-
you own these guys.
But when you're
This is
saying
what-
high, you're talking about what, like maybe a second round pick? Would you actually at this point in the game? And come on, there, hater. Would you actually tell me that you would actually reject a trade with me for Devontae Adams for a second round pick right now?
He said sell high. I'm thinking like a I'm talking like first or something. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, okay.
No,
He
So,
said sell high.
That's I know as high maybe a second round, but what are the value for these players like Devontae
Okay.
Adams,
All right.
Keenan Allen, and Tyreek
Okay.
Hill and Stephon Diggs? Like this is
Yeah.
because their age ranges from 32 to 31, and a lot
Yeah.
of us out there have wide
Well,
receivers. I have Cooper Kupp, and you got to decide what you want to do with these guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just traded Stephon Diggs for a 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
So,
see,
Yeah.
but I
So
probably could have. I probably earlier in the year I should have traded him. I got an offer for a 2nd round pick, and I declined the offer. So, I should have traded him at the beginning of the season for a second, held on to him, and then later on got a 3rd for him. So, but
yeah.
that's about the best you're gonna get is a 2nd round pick for a lot of those guys.
Out of those 4, the only one that you can get anything for would be Devontae Adams. And then as far as Tyreek Hill, I think his career is over. Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, I think he's going to age like spoiled milk. Yes, he's hot right now. He's hot right now. I'll probably, I guess if I had to, like if I feel like I'm on the cusp of like getting the ship real quick, I might throw a second out there. I'm really hesitant about it, but we're talking dynasty here, so it's just like, what happens next year,
Yeah.
And as far as Stephon Diggs, yeah, I think a 3rd round pick is the best you can get for Stephon. Honestly,
Yeah, because Stephon Diggs, he finished once in the top 10 so far this year, once in the top 25, and other than that, he's been absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have traded at the beginning of the year. I could have got a second, but after the terrible start he had in the season, I had to get a 3rd out of him. And what's funny is right after I traded him, he had his best week where he finished number 7. And then he went down to number 55 and number 30. So he went right back to where he was at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I think if you can trade those kind of players that are at the tail end of their career and you can get any kind of value out of them, do it. Unless they're a starter on your team.
right.
If they're a starter on your team and you're trying to win this year, then keep them. Otherwise, if they're not helping you win this year, get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's that
Yep.
simple.
Yeah. With wide receivers, timing matters, man. It really does.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
And running backs. So the consensus I get in is like sell them while you can. Am I understanding that correctly? Angry
Oh,
Joey?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
No, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. Okay.
If
Well,
you have an overzealous Miami fan that still believes in Tyreek Hill, hit him up. Because
So
take
just
advantage
to
of their
kind of put
emotions.
into context, I actually did trade for Devontae Adams. I mean, it was a fair trade with my boy Hater here. It's worked out this year because I'm a contender. Now, if I wasn't a contender, I probably would not have entertained the trade. Because why would you trade for a 32-year-old wide receiver? But as it turns out, he's balling this year. Next year might be a totally different situation. Well, and likely will be a totally different situation. So, if you're know your team, know what you need, and know what you have to go and get.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that puts us at about an hour. Anybody else have anything on some fantasy football tips, tricks, advice?
No,
At least not till next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Go
And
Pokes.
Texas A&M ended up pulling a butt whooping against LSU.
Yeah.
42
Right.
to 18 right now, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
And most importantly, right now, it looks like we're fixing to go into the bottom of the 9th against Toronto. And you know what? I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. So anyway.
What's the score? 3-1?
Nothing. It's 0-0. It's 0-0.
Jeez.
I'm not even going to say it, man.
Oh
No,
my
but-
God. Okay. All right. You're the one that said you wanted a good series. Now you don't want to give up the damn score. Get out of here, man. What type of fan are you?
All right. The Dodgers are up 5-1.
Play with your
right
chest.
now. They're up 5-1 right now.
Don't you fall for that trap. Don't fall for that trap.
What trap?
The trap you just setting over there. Don't do that.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
saying
Series
it.
is still going.
What are you talking
Watch. I'm going to trigger Joey. Well, the Dodgers have it in the bag then.
All right, I'm gonna hang up right now.
No, that's different. That's different.
As Hater would say, you watch your mouth.
Hey, I did that earlier, man. I was clowning on Texas, and then they ended up somehow coming back. It was crazy. So
But you wasn't wrong at the time you did it, though.
no, I wasn't. I still don't think I'm wrong, but they just got lucky because it was against Mississippi State.
You can put lipstick on a pig and put a skirt on it, but it's still a pig at the end of the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
Cool. All right, well, that concludes today's pod. Hater with Facts, hit him with the socials.
All right. You can catch us on Apple, Spotify, and Overcast at D210 Show. You can find us on YouTube at D210 Show Pod. And if you check us out, please tip the bartender on your way out by hitting that thumbs up button or leave a comment. And if you want to hit us up by email, there's a J at D210show.com or Hater, H8R with FAQS at D210show.com.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Thank you for your support. God bless. Take care.